YouTube, what the crap's going on? HeirofCarthage here, and I got some interesting replays submitted to me, and I'll show them to you in just a second, but I'm going to show you basically the principle that they operate on. And here I have a dwarf army where I've spent all of their money, and you may say, oh, that's not the best dwarf army, but that's not the point. Just here's a dwarf army. It's got skirmishers, it's got a thunder and a quarreler, it's got gyrocopters, it's got a mix of units here. It's got even 2 runesmiths to help protect it, and Thorgrim, who helps buff all their stats. It is controlled by the AI, so take this with a grain of salt, but I'll demonstrate what can be done versus the another player. So this is the EverWatcher, and I've gone ahead and just spent pretty high, and we even got this scroll of shielding. There's 3 giants and 2 chaos knights with lances, and you'll see that I still have 2,000 funds remaining. I feel fairly confident that I can win this battle with ease, and I just want to show you a little trick with the EverWatcher that I didn't know. I never used this guy much during Chaos Week because I felt like he got killed relatively easy. And he does if you use him properly, but the interesting thing about the EverWatcher is that he is unbreakable. So he will not falter in leadership. I do want to get my Winds of Magic up a little just to show you. I'm going to have a little fun here. Alright, we're going to let our Winds of Magic build up a little so that we can have some fun with the stunties. And Winds of Magic, of course, is random. Some battles it's going to start higher than others. Other times you may have to wait. It's also going to let my Scroll of Shielding is ready here. Lasts for 67 seconds, gives me 22% damage reduction. Okay, I think this will be a good time to push forward. And I'm going to actually kind of hold the knights back a little. And I'm going to show you kind of a little glitch here that you can use with the EverWatcher. And it has to do with the way he moves. Bring my giants in. Let's get one on Thorgrim. Okay, so I'm going to charge in with the EverWatcher here. And as he charges in, I'm just going to give another charge order on a nearby unit, like close enough that, see that? He just pulls right out. And again, another charge order on a nearby unit, and he'll just kind of continue to fly around like this. And I'm going to just pop the Scroll of Shielding, and I'm going to keep giving charge orders. And I'm going to try and keep some of these other units moving. Bust up Thorgrim. Okay, I'm kind of bogged down for a minute. Let's try and get loose. See there, I can just click a couple charge orders. He gets a little stuck every now and then, but if you are persistent, there we go. There's a couple of my cavalry models in the way. Whenever there's not cavalry models in the way, this guy just wrecks through everybody. You can see that I kind of just keep giving him one movement spell after another here. You can even use his magic here to make this even better. Pull back into these quarrelers. You can see that with the Scroll of Shielding, I'm really quite safe from the attacks of the stunties at the moment. Come on, do your thing. I'm going to keep dropping out some spells. You can see that I'm relatively undamaged here. My giants are doing their thing here. I haven't even really focused on the runesmiths like I could. You can see that the dwarfs literally have no way to pin the EverWatcher down, and I can kind of just continuously charge back and forth. I'm gonna give an attack over here on the runesmith. You want to pick targets that are kind of within charge distance, and when he hits his charge animation, which is kind of where he flaps his wings and flies here, we'll just kind of keep him moving. And again, I've just left all my Chaos Knights and Giants and everything engaged. This is purposefully. I thought I used my Scroll of Shielding. I haven't even used it yet. That was a misclick. Yep, so I'll just use the old EverWatcher here to keep getting the job done. See, he's 33 kills, nothing spectacular, but again, remember, I don't even have a full army for support here, and I'm not even trying to cycle charge my cavalry. I'm trying to be fairly lazy with my micromanagement of everything else. Everything else is just a placeholder. And you'll see that I'll just focus all my attention on the EverWatcher. They're trying to pin me down with the gyrocopters, which is about the only fast-moving unit the dwarves have here, and it's not that fast. to swing back around. Again, I'm going to give these charge orders. See how it makes them fly through the units? You can just keep doing it. My scroll of shielding keeps me safe for quite some time. And I'm just going to fly from target to target. Let's get out here and get these gunners because they're a danger to me. And you can see the giants just kind of get to do their thing because the entire enemy army is so busy trying to pin the EverWatcher down. And it just becomes a huge problem. And as the enemy is able to get units free, you can keep working on them. You can keep dropping spells here too. And the spells don't do hordes of damage, but they do damage, especially once the enemy units get weakened. Like you can see there, that Gehenna's Golden Hounds actually just ripped a hole through those damaged dwarfs. And eventually, if you can keep your giants alive into the late game, which isn't too terrible, you can focus down some of the enemy heroes. You'll notice I already got rid of Thorgrim. Yeah, it's this is a good example, and you can see that I gave them the gyrocopters on purpose, and it's so that hopefully the gyrocopters would be shooting at me most of the time, if not the whole time. And the idea was to kind of show you that even with a unit like that, where a lot of people would be like, oh, well, that gyrocopter, that'd be a hard counter. Not necessarily, because they can't stop EverWatcher. And because of that, they can't really inflict damage. See here, I can just keep clicking that charge order. I go anywhere I want to go, basically. This is kind of I don't know if it's really a glitch as much as his mass and his animation allows him to do this. I'm not showing you this because I really am encouraging people to abuse this or anything. I'll show you some replays where it gets used against other players, and I can tell that they didn't much appreciate it. But at the same time, it is chaos we're talking about. And chaos is pretty underwhelming. And although this approach is somewhat corny, it's a fairly viable way to make chaos extremely painful for other factions to face in what would normally not even be that big of a deal to face off against chaos. So again, you can even see their gyrocopter here just not able to accomplish a lot. And EverWatcher's focused in here with some of the giants on these runesmiths. Only heavy units like those giants really get in his way. And sometimes leaders can slow him down. You see he's a little bogged down here because he's against giants, so you got to watch out for that. But if you can keep this guy just kind of moving through infantry and skirmishers, he is near unstoppable. And whenever there's cavalry around, you just want to run that cavalry into an infantry or monster unit of your own, and it'll stick that cavalry where you can keep the EverWatcher moving. And you can choose not to bring any spells at all on the EverWatcher to save more money to spend on other units. That's always an option. You can see here that he racked up 85 kills himself, which is pretty respectable for a wizard. And of course my giants are able to run amok. I didn't even try and use my Chaos Cavalry very well, and you know, they did okay, all things considered. So yeah, so that's what I'm doing. I'm just double clicking a charge order on a unit that's fairly nearby, and you can see there that not even spending 2,000 gold in my army, I was able to easily destroy this dwarf army. Now that is against the AI, so let's go answer some of your questions against a player. So our good friend WowAsk here has sent me some replays, and there's a couple here that I liked better than others. Let me see if I can find those. Yeah, here was one versus the Empire, I believe. It's not the most amazing Empire army I've ever seen, to be quite frank, but you know, the Empire can be problematic for chaos. So this one isn't against, like I said, it's not against a spectacular Empire army, but they have cavalry, they have skirmishers, they have flying units, they have cannons, all things that could typically give chaos a little bit of trouble. The rest of their army is not super well chosen. There's no light wizard here, and a light wizard could definitely give some problems to this army. Don't kid yourself. That net of Ammontok. See how the general of the Empire missed his charge there, and watch how immediately Sarthorael, or whatever his name is here, Sarthorael, has cut a hole straight through the Empire line. The Chaos Knights land their charge here. They're going to do damage, and he gets chased by the general of the Empire, and the general of the Empire does significant damage. But again, you see how the Chaos Knights are around? The EverWatcher can use that to his advantage, and it kind of helps free him up while the general of the Empire gets temporarily bogged down. You see how he just keeps pushing around? And this EverWatcher doesn't have any magic. He's just saved all his money to pour it into Giants and Forsaken and Cavalry. And that kind of makes sense in a way. You don't necessarily need his magic. The lore of metal's fairly crummy anyway. So this is just a good example here. I mean, you can see where this is going. It's just another 2 minutes of this. But basically, EverWatcher can move about the field with impunity, and the giants pound and smash away. And you might be like, well, Air, that wasn't a very good example. That Empire player, his army wasn't really that good. So this isn't a good example. This isn't really feasible. I could counter that. That's how I do it. I know some of you are thinking that. And yes, you can counter. Like I said, I think that the Net of Ammon talk is going to be the best way to go. But let's take a look against maybe an opponent that put up a little bit better of a fight and maybe had a decent counter build. Let's watch this one. This one's going to be against the dwarfs here. So the dwarfs have some just shielded units. They've got slayers for anti-large. They've got skirmishers to take down chaos monsters. They have a runesmith. They have a dwarf lord. Again, may not be the best build ever, but it has gyrocopters. And this chaos army has no missile support whatsoever. And you might be like, well, yeah, dude, he's screwed. Those gyrocopters, they're going to rip him apart. Not really. Here comes the EverWatcher. Look how far out ahead of his army he is. And he's being shot by a lot of stuff. And look at this. He's just going to plow right into the main line. Look at him slamming around and all these dwarfs. Took a lot of damage, but he just slams around and gets the whole main army so disrupted. Now watch what happens. Here comes all the giants and the Forsaken, and let the pain begin. So EverWatcher has distracted the whole army. The Slayers, you can see them kind of chasing him, and there's just nothing they can do about it. And I'll get you a real-time view of this so you can kind of see what happens. But again, you can see there's double-click charge orders being given on units that are close enough nearby where he can enter his charge animation. And it basically just lets him slide right on through anything without enough mass to stop him, which is basically everything besides monsters. And cavalry he can't really push through that great, but infantry and skirmishers like this, he just melts through them because they have no mass. And you can see his charge looks devastating. It's not terribly devastating in and of itself, but it's the disruption factor. And you can see that the disruption factor is major. He's able to get, like I said, all his guys in. The giants are hammering away. The skirmishers for the dwarfs can't do any good against the giants or the EverWatcher. The two gyrocopters, they're doing work and they're damaging him, but he's moving around so much that they don't necessarily land every hit. The Slayers can't do anything because he just plows right through them every time they start to catch up. So the Slayers aren't really landing any significant damage on the EverWatcher. And this is without the Scroll of Shielding too, which in my opinion makes him a whole lot stronger. This is just a focus on having as many units as he can for follow-up. So pretty interesting here to see how the EverWatcher can do this. Just absolutely wrecks all over the dwarf army, and eventually the dwarf player is going to rage quit here because he's frustrated because he can't pin down the EverWatcher. Let's watch one more replay just to give you another example. Well, that's the dwarfs. The dwarfs stink. Well, let's take a look at Bretonnia. Bretonnia is actually a pretty solid counter faction to Chaos, in the sense that they have cheap anti-armor infantry. They have skirmishers, and those are very good at killing chaos monsters. And they have cavalry that's capable of destroying chaos cavalry. So I feel like Bretonnia's got most of the package here, and they also have better heroes, so they should be able to take chaos on in pretty much every respect and do very well. They also have access to trebuchet, which are quite good against armored chaos infantry. So let's see how this one throws down. So I mean, you got Leon Kerr and his 2 paladins in the goon squad. You got 4 knights of the realm circling around, line of halberds, backed up by peasant bows. What do you think the EverWatcher is going to do to these peasant bows? Now they fire at the Forsaken and the Giant. Looks like the Giant is their main target. And that's not a bad idea. The Bretonnia player realizes here, like, all right, I got a lot of units to kill, and this just gives the EverWatcher even more room to come in. Now look, Leon Kerr lands a charge on him, and it's significant. He does a lot of damage on the charge. But you can see EverWatcher just has to kind of headbutt him a little to get some space, and then here comes that charge order, and immediately he's away from Leon Kerr. And Leon Kerr is going to chase him, but he has to get back in the air, and you kind of see how EverWatcher can move around like this. So he's keeping the entire Bretonnian army like pinned, basically, the skirmishers at least. So it's allowing the Chaos Giants and everything to do their work, and you can see that they are really punching away through the Bretonnian troops. And because they have poor leadership, they're relatively easy to break in this case. So you got all the Forsaken. I don't know if Forsaken cause fear. It seems like they would. And you see there the EverWatcher used the mass of these other units to get Leon Kerr stuck, and he is able to sneak away and just keep on pouncing. Now this particular battle won't be a runaway victory for Chaos by any means, because he's still got to kill 2 paladins. He's got several units of archers, but you can see that once he's able to distract the archers long enough to melt through the main infantry line with his Forsaken, the Forsaken can then give chase to the archers, and once the archers are in trouble, it starts to fall apart for Bretonnia there, because they've lost a lot of their support. Now, on the flanks, as I said, Bretonnian cavalry easily making mincemeat of the Chaos cavalry, almost no challenge there. And this is the better Chaos cavalry. And the Bretonnian cavalry is not even anti-cav. But I'm just showing you how easy it is for them to make mincemeat of stuff like this. Leon Kerr is busy trying to get rid of Forsaken and a Giant. And again, the EverWatcher is just at liberty to chase off a lot of these bowmen. And some of these guys will come back. You can see he swings back in with Forsaken and with the Giant. Gonna try and support against Leon Kerr. Paladins coming in, doing everything he can to stop the Giant. Gets a pretty good hit. And EverWatcher came straight into the face of all this, and he's doing quite well. Let's get some close-ups on him. He is a really cool character. Wish you could play him in campaign. I feel like that'd be a lot of fun. You get to play against him, I think. But yeah, it'd be a lot of fun to use him in campaign. I think you unlock him through a campaign feat too. He's definitely a cool unit. Like it. I don't know much about him from lore, but I mean, he's definitely a really cool looking unit. And the way he flies around and stuff looks pretty neat. Like I said, this is definitely an abuse of his mass, basically. You know, some people might say, oh, this is cheese, or this is dishonorable and all this other stuff. I mean, honestly, this I'm not saying I like it or I'd love to come up against it myself per se, but after playing a week with Chaos, I almost can't fault someone for playing this type of battle with them, because Chaos has so few options to make themselves dangerous to certain enemies. And in my way, this is a fairly creative understanding of the mechanics of this guy, and able to use him to really bust up the enemies here. And you can see there's quite a bit of time left in this fight. I'm going to fast forward to show you how it ends up, because this video is going a little bit long. But here you're able to see how Wasg, or whatever his name is, WOWASG, he's able to basically pound this one out. It is a very close fight in the end, though. Very close. I'll let you watch it. It's because these paladins are actually doing significant damage to both the Giant and the EverWatcher, and he's trying to stay free of him here, and the paladins are kind of cycling in and out. Of course, they have their healing potion. Leon Kerr has his regenerate, which is still going on right now. You can see how EverWatcher is staying right next to the Giants to try and protect them from the charge of Leon Kerr and the Paladins. That's pretty much his only option. He's going to keep slamming around in here trying to get rid of enemy units. And like I said, I'll let you watch the finish to this. It is pretty epic. Leon Kerr is over here trying to get rid of some Forsaken. Let's get some more close-ups on the Chaos smashing crew over here. This is an impressive melee performance, honestly, for a wizard. Not all wizards are bad, though. Vlad von Karstein's decent. He's not necessarily like the best at taking out tons of other heroes, which he's not bad at because he heals so fast, but like he's pretty good for a wizard too. There's a few wizards who are pretty decent in melee, and of course von Karstein's not too bad. Manfred is. So yeah, there's a couple of them that are okay. Most other wizards, unfortunately, like Balthasar and others, are useless because the Creative Assembly hasn't really balanced them into multiplayer. They work fine in campaign and they're fun there, but I almost feel like Legendary Lord spellcasters should get either like a greatly improved magic reserve so that their magic makes a lot more difference in the battlefield, or I feel like their magic should be stronger, like maybe the same spells but stronger than a typical wizard. So like Balthasar's Lore of Metal would be better than like a Chaos Sorcerer of Metal, you know, and so on and so forth. It'd be nice to see that type of thing be the case, so that it encourages people to use strategies that are magic-centric, and to me that should be the purpose of taking a Legendary Lord who has magic. Look, EverWatcher's like, psych! I didn't really mean it. Yeah, so you're going to use the Giants for protection from that charge, which is not a bad plan, kind of keeping them right in between there. He's trying to take out all the remaining Bretonnian units so that it'd be easier for him to focus up the Lord. Here comes the Paladin. Let's see if his charge gets the EverWatcher. It very well might, because EverWatcher's running very low. Oh, Leon Kerr's going to get him. Yeah, Leon Kerr's got him right here, I would assume. Nope, EverWatcher's still alive. See that? He used that movement thing to get him out of there, and the Giants took the charge for him. And I think a Paladin, yeah, got routed right there maybe. comes another Paladin charge. Only 29 hit points left on the EverWatcher. So yeah, extremely close. There goes EverWatcher. The Paladin got him. But can Leon Kerr take out the Giants? If he keeps charging them, he could. The Giants cause immense damage whenever they get a hit, and you can't really knock them over with a unit like Leon Kerr. But the Giants are also fairly low leadership. Their Lord's dead. One of them routes there. This one's going to get a devastating hit on these pole arms. So he's going to knock them out of the way. They're wavering. Let's see what happens. So he just kind of has to wait on Leon Kerr to try and finish this. He's flying around right now. Probably, I mean, he has regen left. And he still has, this unit here actually just shattered, though. So he's going to have to come down and fight, or else his leadership will break. Look at that. The Giant gets a hit. Leon Kerr gets a big hit. And the Giant's going to finish it here almost. Ooh, it's close. Leon Kerr gets clubbed in the head. And that's going to be it for Bretonia. So very, very close fight there. Very close fight. But interesting. Just kind of show you all that against an army that is even a pretty tough match for this. Being able to use the EverWatcher for that kind of disruption is significant. So I just wanted to pass this along to you. I appreciate Wowazg, or however you say his name there. I appreciate him sending this through and letting me know about it. It was definitely an interesting mechanic that I hadn't seen with Chaos. And since I had already covered Chaos, felt like it was only fair for me to cover this and make you all aware of it. I'm not telling you to go out and abuse it, but I am letting you know about it in case you feel like you wanted to leave it open as an option for yourself with Chaos, since they're not a great faction. Figured it would be good to give you a legitimate tip on a way that you can use them to maybe catch someone off guard. But bear in mind, if you do this and people see it, they're going to start knowing about it. They might know how to stop you. But again, leaves an option on the table where maybe you can be a little bit trickier. What do you all think? Tell me what you think in the comments. Hey, I really appreciate you all viewing this. I love making videos for you every day. It's a lot of fun, and I just want to let you all know that I have awesome viewers. That's you. And I feel like I need to tell you thanks more often. And so that's what I'm trying to do in these videos, is appreciate you. So thank you. Hope you enjoyed it. HeirofCarthage signing out. I will see you next time.